The G.I. Joe Classified Haslab Snowcat. Let's talk about it here on the Fanboy Cantina. Haslab is the crowdfunding platform for Hasbro Pulse, so it needs to get to a certain number of backers in order for that project to move forward. This project is the G.I. Joe Classified Snowcat. It is priced at $325. The project went live in June of 2025, and collectors have until August 14th of 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time to back the Snowcat. The base offering includes everything shown in this picture, including the Frostbite action figure. The Snowcat itself is quite large, 21 inches long, almost 11 inches tall, and about 10.5 inches wide. The Snowcat has working tires, a conveyor belt-like tread system, suspension system, LED light effects on the inside and the outside. There's also a working canopy, and there's even a little sticker where you can make it look like, that windshield is frosted over. There's opening panels, you can see the engine, and of course you have the missile system on the top. With the missile system, I never really liked as a kid the ski torpedoes thing on the sides, but I like how they've done the treatment here where you can't really see it, or you can kind of hide it away. And as for the missile system itself, it is removable, so you can turn this thing into like an armored personnel carrier. There are some odd aspects to this Haslab. Among them is this kitchenette that comes out of the side of the Snowcat. We'll come back to this. As for the action figure itself, I think Frostbite looks excellent. A really great rendition of the original action figure, but now in G.I. Joe Classified scale. The good news is that this Haslab will go forward. It did reach its 8,000 minimum threshold, so everybody who backs this thing will at least get the Snowcat and the Frostbite action figure. Now the question becomes, in these final days or hours of the campaign, will it reach the additional tiers for additional items? So there are 3 tiers to this Haslab. If it reaches 10,000 backers, you get the Arctic Lady J action figure. You get everything that's shown here. Some of the unusual items include a personalized coffee cup, an ice auger, and a fishing pole without any fish. At 12,000 backers, you get the Bivouac. So this is a G.I. Joe Classified rendition of a G.I. Joe Real American Hero diorama set. You get everything shown in this picture along with the fish that you didn't get with Lady J. Finally, if it reaches 14,000 backers, you get Arctic Flint, so you get the action figure shown here along with the accessories, among them a kettle, a personalized coffee cup, some sticks for cooking sausages or hot dogs, along with eggs on a skillet. Hasbro has released some new pictures of the Bivouac as well as the action figures, and I think in general they do look quite good. So here is the question. Is the G.I. Joe Classified Haslab Snowcat worth $325? Now, just looking at the vehicle itself, it is very large, and it is larger than the Haslab Hiss Tank that came out a couple of years ago, or several years ago at this point, and it was priced at $300. So it's a little bit more, $25 more than the Haslab Hiss Tank. The issue that I have, though, is that while the Haslab Hiss Tank, the Hiss Tank itself, is an iconic G.I. Joe vehicle, the Snowcat is more of a nice to have. I don't know if it's a preferences thing. I'm reminded of that scene from Toy Story 4 where Arctic Combat Carl can't get a high five or something. Is that like a thing? Post in the comments if that's like a thing for you. But for me, the Arctic line is interesting, but it's not as core for myself compared to maybe some of the other lines or aspects of G.I. Joe. Also, it seems with this Haslab, they've really focused on, I think what they were trying to do is like an adventure team type of theme. Do you remember this? It was G.I. Joe in the 70s and also had a life later. It's certainly unique, but it's not something that I'm interested in with at least the G.I. Joe Classified line. It's kind of like with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Cold Slither set where You know, it's cool, but do I need to have, do I need to pay $125 for a drum set and these other things? It's unique, but I don't need to have that in my collection. I will admit, though, that if the Cold Slither set were cheaper, if the Snowcat were cheaper, I would have more of an interest in these respective sets. If the Haslab Snowcat were $75 cheaper, didn't need to have all of the bells and whistles included, I would be more interested in this set. But at this price point, at $325, it just doesn't rise up there in terms of priorities, especially with the other crowdfunding campaigns going on. But that's my opinion. Post in the comments, what do you think of the Haslab Snowcat? Are you backing it? Are you adding it to your collection? Would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. This has been the Fanboy Cantina.